Awesome, awesome. All right, all right. And then, hi everybody. Happy Friday. Today is January 19th, MVP office hours. We're so glad you're here. Um, Generally speaking, we meet on the first and the third Friday of each month, 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find out more at mvpofficehours.info. I'm joined by Squire today. We're missing Dale. Sorry, Dale, we miss you. We'll talk to you soon. But he's got some big stuff going on, so he's not here today. But we also have, well, all of you, and I'm very excited to see you today. You can reach us through mvpofficehoursus@gmail.com, but we don't recommend it. We recommend using the success community so that everybody can contribute to your answer, and not just Dale, Squire, and I, when we have time to get to that email box. So next slide, please. Recap. Our next call is February 2nd, so it's the first Friday of next month. And then this is an open Q&A, and so we invite everybody to ask questions, and we invite everybody to answer the questions, please. And if you have any links, share them in the chat. If you want to quote our lovely time here in some fashion, please use our favorite hashtags. They're on the screen. Can't read them to you. It's crazy. But we do invite everybody to share their experiences and insights. And if you have a question, post in the chat and we'll get you in the queue, and then we'll get to you next. But if you share your screen with us, do not share production data. Please, please, please. We're recording this and it's going to get posted on YouTube in the next week or so. And so we really want to protect you and your org's data from everything that's out there, right? And then the last reminder is that this is a professional and positive environment for everybody. And so we appreciate you being fun and informal, but also put the work hat on a little bit, and let's keep things on the up and up. Because, as Squire and Dale like to remind me, the internet's forever. All right, next slide. Yay. We have some upcoming Dreaming events. I don't know who's going to what. I'm not going to any of those on that list. Oh, wait, that one. All right, so we've got Philippines Dreamin' coming up, Cactus Forest, Japan Dreamin', Snow Forest, and Texas Dreamin'. Gosh, Philippines Dreamin', that's tomorrow. I'm not going to that one, but I am signed up for TDX on March 6th. And I just saw that they extended the early bird rate today. So if you're interested in going and you're not signed up, you should sign up soon. I think that covers about everything, right? But if you want to
actually,
what, tell me.
Sorry. So last week we talked about a bunch of them that weren't on the list.
Oh,
And
yeah.
this week I went to go add them and they're still not in the community list. So, and I didn't get a chance to actually then dig through the recording to try to remind myself what were brought up for the next upcoming weeks. But
you know what? I have the list. I'll update it for next go round. And
well, I think I'm more concerned, like, they're not in the event list. Like the whole world needs to know about them, not just the 20 people that joined today. So I just kind of a call, like if you know those groups and they're not in the event calendar, they should reach out.
I'll take a look at it, and then maybe I'll throw something at those people that handle that also.
Okay.
The
or if anyone on the call knows a person.
the planners, the people that are planning the events, and the people at Salesforce that update that space. So yes, I like that. I need to like put a thumbtack in that somewhere in a board that I don't have in my office. Ooh, is Kathleen on the call?
Well, so there was I think some additional conversations with the challenge that she was having last week, and I was just hoping she was able to speak to what she found out. I don't think she's on today, but I didn't see anything in email or in the chat between last week and this week, so the floor is wide open.
What? Everybody's here to help? No one has questions? No one's playing stump. Oh, Clayton, here you
Clayton,
go.
of course he does. Before you jump in, Clayton, before you jump in, Clayton, really quick, Mike put a post in there for GPT Cloud events. Do you want to speak to that, or do you just want to remind everybody about it?
It's a list that Ian Gotts puts together and maintains, and it's pretty solid. It's got like 34 events in it right now. and they're all Salesforce or Salesforce centric. Not endorsing it, but it is fairly robust.
Can you say some more, like, who did you say is doing this? I'm sorry.
Ian Gotts, Elements.
Ian,
Elements
Ian,
Cloud.
sure.
Yeah.
Any idea why Ian does this outside of what's already in Salesforce? Is it just Ian?
I would guess that it's just Ian.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
he can, but he's doing a lot of legwork for us. And if you're the type of person who wants to, be aware of what all the events are, it's pretty good. I think he works pretty hard to keep it updated.
Cool. Appreciate that. Thanks.
So we've got Clayton and then Matt.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so I had someone ask me to create, or they were asking about discovery profile for accounts. And they wanted me to add a tab. And I started Googling discovery, account discovery profiles. And I'm a little bit confused and just wondered if you might be able to point me in the right direction. Does it make sense what I'm asking about?
I haven't heard that phrase lobbed in my direction. But maybe someone here has.
Is it Einstein discovery? I mean, are they confusing terminologies?
Well, that's what I was kind of wondering. What they're wanting to do is go through and put together a questionnaire, a question that they can qualify an account. And they're kind of referring to it as discovery profile. And, for me, I was thinking you may have questions that you put on the account object. Otherwise, if they're wanting another tab, I think you would have to create a specific object outside of the account, which I don't know why you'd want to do that.
Sounds a little bit like lead conversion also, like who's qualifying the leads to convert them into accounts. Or have you gone back to the requester and asked them to elaborate on what you're looking for, or if they could show you an example of what they have in mind?
Yeah, and I'm going to be on a call with them later today, and maybe I can get clarification. But it's kind of like I Googled it a little bit, and it seemed like, is there some functionality that allows users to go in and create their own questionnaires?
I mean, there's survey, but that's not what you're asking, right?
No.
No.
It's almost like they need to like answer some basic questions like, are they a good fit for our company before we make them a potential account to sell into? But I'm right back at lead conversion. Like answering these questions on a lead before you convert it into an account is where my brain keeps going, but oh, look at that.
All right.
So
Look
like this is definitely tied to CRM analytics. So I just want to make sure that they're not using terminologies incorrectly to try and like redirecting you. Oh yeah, Barb's got something there too. So let's see here.
Do you have analytics, Clayton?
I'm going to say yes, but we haven't used it yet.
I bet you Barb's onto something here. Does this look like it? Let's see here. Boy, everybody's got links.
I
They
love it.
call it a discovery framework. Like on the left, you can see a couple of other links there.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's what they're referencing. I haven't used it.
I haven't touched that either.
Yeah, I did a little research and I saw that the Omni process was kind of linked into this. And I'm not.
Omni Studio.
Go ahead, sorry.
And then I see Mike, you post something. Was that more of the more analytic discovery stuff, or
it's really a Pardot piece with account scoring and account insights, that aspect of Einstein. That other one, that's a financial services cloud product, but that does seem very similar to what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I would wonder if they're not just trying to talk about coming up with some type of literal score, like a
Mhm.
lead score, like what Joy was saying, and
This is-
not specifically referencing a product.
This is the link that Andrew dropped as far as having a call script to try to help like complete those cold leads, right?
Yeah. It's a whole nother,
Yeah.
Whole nother
That's
angle.
HVS. Yeah.
Clayton, we've got a handful of rabbit holes for you to dive down.
Okay,
Yeah.
There's a whole
Hopefully
there's a whole
we'll-
lot of discovery here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's discovery. Perfect.
all right, thank you.
That was fantastic. That's why I love this call. That's why I love it, because it's always make me happy. All right, so Clayton, are you ready to run with this, and you're going to report back to us next time on what this meant?
Yes, yeah. I'll be on the call later this afternoon and hopefully get a few minutes so maybe they can show me exactly what they want. We went through a process of, I had it on the account object and we were going to score customers.
Mhm.
Sounds like to me they're looking for the ability for the sales reps to use a script, fill it in, and then have it populate.
Or then populate back to the account.
Yeah,
Sounds exciting. I
Yeah.
really hope that one of these is the answer, and we're all going to learn from it. So
okay, thank you.
thank you.
I'm excited to hear when it's not any of these things, and then we really figure out what it is.
It's a D365 feature.
Oh, ouch. All right, Matt. Are you ready to talk to us?
I'm ready to talk to you. It's a
All right.
minor question.
Never.
We're looking to connect or replace a like kind of cumbersome code connection between Salesforce and NetSuite. And so we're going to use like more of like a kind of out of the box connector. And the two sort of finalists are Boomi and Celigo. Celigo's NetSuite's product. So they're both kind of like Zapier type products, but like a little bit more robust. I just want to see if anyone here has used either Boomi or Celigo and had a good or bad experience.
I've used Celigo. We're moving to Workato.
Yeah.
I've actually
Is it
Boomi.
not working for you? Is it like you're moving because it's not good?
It seems more complicated. I mean, we're ironically using it for a simple Salesforce to NetSuite sync, and it's just overkill. And we're getting a better deal with Workato, and the interface for me personally is a lot more intuitive and easier to work with.
Okay. And Andrew
I
says
know
Boomi
someone
is
who's
kind of-
used Boomi. Yeah. I've heard from other people who've used Boomi that they liked it. Pretty easy to use, but I also heard that it's a little pricey.
Yeah, Boomi's a little bit pricey. If you're just doing it for that one integration, it may not be worth your cause. I've used Boomi multiple times for this exact scenario, but I've also used Boomi for other integrations to other systems, so it was worthwhile for the cost for the customer at that point. I would keep looking for additional tools and making sure that they are the right fit for you.
I like that thought too. I mean, I don't like the idea of implementing a tool for a single integration. So you should, even though that's your use case, you should get them to step back and be like, what else could we use it for? Will it return the investment for a broader scope? Because you're setting up a strategy potentially downstream, but like, here's how we want to integrate other systems, both on-prem and off. Can we do that too? Is that the right choice? So
In this case, it actually is going to be other systems. I just was kind of oversimplifying it. There's also a custom application and potentially like an AP Smart or something like that, some financial that I don't really touch. But I appreciate everyone's feedback. That's good stuff. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Were there any other questions in the chat?
I didn't see anything, but we had a lot of people join in the last 15 minutes. So just a quick shout out. Feel free to drop questions into the chat. Raise your
26?
hand. Yeah.
26?
No pressure.
I got 26 pros with no questions. This is amazing. Oh man. No questions.
Great question, Mark. Let's talk about that a little bit because so the MVP office hours like nomenclature is suggestive of only MVPs. I like to say that we're all MVPs because we joined, not because we have a piece of paper that says we are. So you and anybody you know is welcome to join and share your thoughts and ask questions and give feedback and help other people become MVPs. So great question, Mark. Thanks for coming. Bring your friends.
Yeah. Take the knowledge home, be an MVP for your company, do the things that make you look great.
Yep.
So
Christy.
where's Christy? Is Christy doing something?
I'm
Oh, Christy has a question.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll pose it since there's no others right now. Does anybody
Oh.
on this call already use VRA? Because we're setting up VRA. By the way, it's the slickest product I've ever seen for a very large client. And there's a knowledge component to it where when you're on the virtual remote assistant call and you're scanning something, you copy paste it, throw it in, it'll find that item. But from there, you cannot tie that article that comes up in that special VRA knowledge component to the case. Funny thing, I went to ask Salesforce on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter. Sorry, I'm going to call it Twitter forever. So there you go. And they actually got back to me a couple days later and said, we couldn't find anything either. Open a case with Salesforce. So does anyone use VRA? Okay, just worth asking.
But there's 25 other people that might have that are muted and didn't speak up loud enough because I didn't hear you over your mute. So no. Oh,
Nope.
all right.
Andrew said he does, but not knowledge. Is there something specific there? Can you speak to? I mean, can you fill in a gap even if you don't have the knowledge part?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done anything with knowledge, like connected with the VRA, exactly what she's talking about. But I will say VRA is really slick. The setup of it is like the easiest, simple, like how they have the setup structured is really nice of setting it up. But we don't use anything with knowledge with the VRA. But it's a cool product. We got it like when it first came out. It's actually just rebranded TechC connected to Salesforce.
Could
Okay.
I ask? Like, I've never seen this implemented. Can you tell me a little bit about like the use case and how it helps you?
Mine or?
Yeah, yours.
Yeah. So it's an extremely large global size manufacturer. And instead of having someone go in the field, then they on a case send an invite, right? Like he said, it's TechC, and they can show the pump or they can show the product or whatever the heck it is and scan that in and your live chat video. Oh yeah. Okay. And then you can circle on the screen. So if they had knowledge articles also set up for their agents to say, oh, if somebody scans in this barcode that's on this product, then you can stick it in knowledge. It would find that article for you, which is great. And it shows it to you. You just can't tie it to a case like you can from the regular knowledge component thing.
So to say it back to make sure, so the scan takes you to the knowledge, but you as the support rep, not you personally, but would then have to go find it again from the case to connect it. Is that what you're saying? And so then you want to try to take that step
instead of
up?
the side one that's specific to VRA,
Right.
the knowledge thing, then you'd have to go to where we have it on a different page or a tab on the page. The other knowledge, find it from the subject or whatever, and then click the little paper clip, whatever that thing is, to tie it. I was just trying to see, that last little piece that makes it easier from there.
I know this is sorry, this is a really strange question. There's a checkbox in setup that is allow knowledge articles to be related to cases.
We have that on
Okay.
because it works on the regular. It wasn't working on the regular. We're setting it up. We're like, oh, okay, do that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not working on the VRA part, which is just the weirdest. I don't know.
Do you think it's an access thing between the VRA and?
We have the VRA, the person who's testing, because it's in the sandbox right now, just has they have the VRA license. So they have all the VRA permissions needed. And it is, you know, the extra money license thing.
And they have the Service Cloud license?
Yeah, and they have knowledge. Yeah, yeah. It's
Did you restart Salesforce? Did you turn it off? Did you plug it in?
Does
turn the
the,
key, press X. Yeah.
is it because is it like in the modal? Is that why like you're in the middle of VRA, you're not actually in the case while you're interacting? Is that why it doesn't know
VRA
anything
is
about
on the case. The VRA is actually on the case record.
It is, okay.
Mhm, mhm.
I'm thinking like, is there something you could do to the knowledge article to like reverse lookup? So you'd have the knowledge article and then you at the bottom of that page or something, you'd have a link to case and
Like
you'd look it up the
yeah.
other direction.
Can you embed the link somehow?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Hmm,
mean, the only way to link it to
interesting.
case is to paperclip it. That's okay. I can still turn in the case to Salesforce. It was just one of those things that.
Yeah, it feels like it should work the way you're describing it, right?
One cool thing, if anyone wants to do some fun with VRA, technically it doesn't violate any licensing stuff because I've cleared it through like with it, but it's one of those apps where you can get really creative of who you assign licenses to. So how we use it is we have actually not a crazy amount of licenses, and we let our employees check out the licenses with a screen flow when they need to use VRA to go do it. So we might have 20 service agents, but we only have like 5 licenses. We've realized that at a concurrent time, our users they'll use it for like an hour randomly throughout a day. So we just have 5 licenses and there's a permission set that they assign themselves through it with a screen flow, and it expires and then checks it back in at the end of like once it expires.
Andrew, could you post that on like a, YouTube site for how that works? And that'd be great because the client, who's a global company, bought only 25.
Well,
I've got to be.
he might get in trouble with that.
Like, publicly, I can say it.
Permission set expiration thing in your sandbox. There you go.
Like publicly, it's not a secret. So like I can say it here. I know it's public post online. But if you just think about the creative part of like screen flows, you can have them run a system and let users assign themselves permission sets. And then you could also unassign them after a certain amount of time. So you can creatively use them. If you just think about it from that like standpoint, there's no MSA requirement says that you can't assign permissions on demand and unassign them. It's just you can't share them at the same time.
Yeah,
So,
no. And
thinking
here's
about
why I'm
that.
saying this is so cool, because the VRA, there's so much that's captured after the call that you wouldn't get to see if you don't have the license. So we're at least taking that final comment and shoving it onto a field via background flow onto the case so people know, oh, this case had a VRA, even if they don't have the license.
So I don't know I don't know how VRA works, right? But if there is something within the VRA data model that would note that a knowledge article was the one you wanted, you should be able to do some simple automation and create a record on the case article object, which is the junction between case and knowledge. And essentially create the relationship that you want the tool to be doing automatically. You would just have to automate it. But again, you'd have to have some flag or something sufficient to use as a flag, you know what I mean, within the VRA tool. So I don't, having not used it, I can't speak to what that is, but that might be the simplest way to actually get it done, because to the point made earlier, it could just be that the modal that VRA is operating within, or the component that VRA is operating within, doesn't have the ability to speak to this record, which is probably why it can't actually relate them, because there's nothing architecturally preventing this from happening, right?
Right. At this point, since no one's used it, I might still how's this? What you're saying is great. Probably not in scope for the project because they weren't specific. They just said set up VRA. Great.
Yeah.
But for my own knowledge, I want to know why doesn't it work and how can we get it to work and what am I doing? So I might still turn in a case with Salesforce.
Yeah.
But I am going to demo it to my other client if I can get a temporary license, just so y'all know, for a logistics company, because that thing would come in really handy when you have damage claims. To have the video right away.
Interesting. All right. Well,
Good luck, Christy.
Thanks.
Yeah.
in the kindest way possible. Good luck, Christy.
Yeah.
Well, if I have to deal with, help support, I get it.
Nothing else popped up in the chat, so now we're kind of fishing a little bit. Does anybody have anything else?
I want to kind of circle back to the the MVP office
Oh, yeah.
hours and all that. Once upon a time, I was in a position where I was a solo admin, and being a solo admin with a company of people that don't speak Salesforce was challenging. And I came here to MVP office hours before I was a co-host. And I learned so much about what I had never touched in Salesforce that it just truly expanded my knowledge of what Salesforce could do. And I can't even count the number of times that things on this call have come up later in my life. And I'm just really grateful for all of you. So please continue to play along with Stump the hosts, because, well, I keep learning more stuff. It's great.
Right. I mean, how much have I learned since just being on this call every 2 weeks, right? I'm in the same boat. I owe Jared and Dale like 1 million beers or whatever they're drinking that day for just letting me like come off mute and talk. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. I lurked for a long time before I like had the courage to ask a question. But then when I did, I was like, oh, open the floodgates. I got all the questions. It's great. It's great. It was great. So sorry. Diane, you have a question.
Yep, I do. So we've had a bit of a Hyperforce debacle. Allegedly, I received a notification about it. I didn't get it, but I did see something last week that we were getting moved to Hyperforce in February. So I quickly went in and did all the things in the Hyperforce Assistant. But one of the things that I'm struggling with is it may be just naming, right? We use Pardot, which I believe is now called Marketing Cloud Account Engagement. But in the Hyperforce Assistant, there is a checkbox thing where you need to make sure that your Marketing Cloud connector is properly configured. And I don't know if we're using it. And I don't know how to tell. Like I looked in my, our recent invoice to see if that product is listed somewhere. It's not.
Are you using Marketing Cloud?
We're using Pardot.
Yeah, it's a different thing.
Yeah, we're
So
in the
that-
same situation, and I opened a
engagement.
case. Yeah, I opened a case with Salesforce and asked that question. Pardot and Marketing Cloud are two different products.
Okay.
Account engagement, yes, you're right, Barb. We're having trouble with that naming convention change here.
Pardot, now known as Marketing Cloud Account Engagement.
There
And
you
then
go.
Old Exact Target, now called Marketing Cloud.
Okay. So the Marketing Cloud connector is for Marketing Cloud and not Marketing Cloud Account Engagement.
Correct.
Okay.
There's a
Alright.
there's a connector for account engagement, I believe.
Yeah,
There's
there is.
an integration user that feeds things, but it's
The B2B
so
MA,
much
yeah.
more embedded. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think that's this.
No, in that email that you receive, it directly refers to the Marketing Cloud connector, which is the tool that integrates Salesforce and Marketing. So if you're not integrating with Marketing Cloud, you don't have to worry about that particular step.
Okay. All right.
That's a
That was
fun
it.
one if
Thank
you have
you.
to do it.
What's that?
That's a fun step if you have to do it. You have to reset your whole connection.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I need to ask somebody about this because this looks like it's gonna fail or something. I don't know. I don't like resetting connections. It always makes me really nervous. So this is good news for me. Okay, Hyperforce it is.
Is it okay to just kind of open call out, like everybody either has or will be shortly going to Hyperpost? Is there any other tips or tricks anyone's dealt with the conversion that they want to just kind of throw on the fire here?
I mean, I was supposed to move next week. I submitted a case, and now I'm moving at a indeterminate time in the future because, like, I don't want to deal with that mess. And then I also told them that we need to have a full sandbox to do regression testing before we're even willing to move. And if they can't provide that, we won't move. Because, like, they wanted us to move production in all of our sandboxes at the same time. And once you move, there's no way to go back. Your previous org lives for about like 15 minutes after the migration. And past that, there's no turning back whatsoever. You're done.
Yeah.
So I delayed it.
Andrew, same. Client of mine said, we don't want to move sandboxes and production at the exact same time. We want to separate it out. Then they're like, okay, turn in a ticket. Sandboxes will move here. Oh, no, it's not. Then we get another email. They're going to move later. They're going to move later. At this point, the sandboxes are moving in March, and they just sent us an email yesterday saying, hey, production's moving in February. And we're like, yeah, that's not what we asked for.
I asked for an extension and I have been told I needed to work with my account executive. And of course, it's a brand new account executive. And I haven't heard if they're going to give us the extension or not because
Your AE needs to put a case in. They have to create a case in org 62 and then it goes, that's how it gets approved. They just have to submit a case. It's dumb that you can't submit the case yourself though. I fought that.
I've heard two things. So as far as the case goes, I know the big issue is that they are auditing the delays to be intentional, not because you weren't prepared, but because you have an actual use case. That's why they're going through AEs. And so, you know, some people just don't wanna, but they have to, right? So I get it. It just makes it really hard. The other question I had though is we have requested for delays in, I think it was May and then October. And we were told we couldn't get another delay. We had to go in February. But Chrissy and Andrew, you've got delays past February now that you've been approved for?
I mean, yeah, ours is now set for an indeterminate time in 2024. And once that comes up, if they don't have a full sandbox for me, I won't be taking that date. I've got 1,200 custom objects. I can't move all of that with all the complexity without testing.
wow.
Yeah, I get that. I just mean us too, right? You're not alone in that space. But like we were given our delay and then told, well, plan for the date because you're not going to get another one. So I was just curious how you.
And ours was, we just wanted a delay. And originally it was going to be early December for the sandboxes and mid-December. And then we got these automated emails a couple weeks later. Hey, it's been canceled.
Yep.
Hey, it's set for this date. And then we got another one. Hey, that's been canceled. Now it's set for this date. And
So
so
yours
they
is just-
set it.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay, cool. So
But
not
they
like
said
Andrew
sandbox
has
is
been
later
pushing
than
it.
production now. And we're like, yeah, wait, sorry, that you did you screw up your days?
So you know, we have a fairly simple, you know, implementation, right? We're using mostly standard objects, very few custom objects. The big things that I saw were you'll have issues if you're using EAC, which we're not. You'll have issues if you're whitelisting IP addresses, which we're not. We confirm that we're not using SEC. So I'm thinking this is not a big deal, as long as that the marketing connector thing, which we just confirmed, it doesn't sound like it's going to be a big deal for an issue for us. So everything should be fine, right?
Yeah.
I'm starting to get nervous.
I work for an org that whitelists IPs. I think the only problem we had was with one of our data vendors. They didn't set themselves up correctly, and it took a day to like go back and forth with them. So I agree, generally not a big deal. And I talked to the product manager at World Tour, and he basically said like Salesforce checks it really hard, and they're not going to migrate you if it fails one of their, you know, intricate tests.
Can I just, again, I'm trying to empower everyone who joins this call. It is a really big deal, but because you're prepared and understand your environment and did your testing, there won't be repercussions, but don't make it sound easy. Just make it sound like you were prepared.
I agree.
Yeah.
Testing, like I never got the note that you're supposed to get a 90-day notification. I don't know what it even says because I never got it. I've asked them to tell me who they actually sent it to, because it may have gone to some executive in our company who just deleted it.
Like, who owns your org?
Well, on the company information, we have a chief officer listed. I've tried to change that to me twice, and it keeps changing it back to him.
I think that there's like some verification along the way with that.
But the thing is I get every other notification, performance degradations. I get all that stuff, right? Why wouldn't I get this important
and
announcement?
there may be a contact. Oh, where is that? You can change it, but I think the person, like either the person who owns it has to do it, or there's a verification step so that people can't just like pull
Change
someone
it.
off. Yeah, fake it.
He doesn't even have a license to Salesforce anymore.
It happens. It happens a lot.
Yeah, I think you're right. The person whose email address is the current manager has to click the verify I approve this change.
And
if that email address is dead, then you have a problem.
You have to log a case, I think, to get it.
Yeah, you could log a case to have that changed, but again, your AE is involved in that too, I believe.
So they would essentially have to upgrade us to Hyperforce in our we have a full sandbox. They'd have to do it there first, right?
Nope.
No.
They don't. My sandboxes are still on Oracle.
Oh,
see,
okay.
funny story for you, real world here. I did get the notices for, the Hyperforce was coming. I did the testing, and then I got stalled because the Hyperforce Assistant, several components of it continue to say, coming soon, for the upgrade and manage part. And I did get notices that our sandboxes were being upgraded to Hyperforce, and that is now true for 4 out of the 6. But when I go into the Hyperforce Assistant in production to the prepare section where it says check connectivity to your instance on Hyperforce, it says you're already on Hyperforce. I don't know when that happened.
Yeah, so no big deal.
Apparently it worked. Or maybe it explains some random ghost issues we're dealing with. I don't know. But
okay.
Yeah.
Diane, I
Yes.
found a link about updating the primary contact. I put it in the chat.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if you've already done these things, or I didn't even get through reading all of it, but it seems pretty straightforward. But
I just had to do that. All I did is I opened a case. I didn't even Google it. I just opened a case and say, hey, this guy created the org. The org is mine. Put my name there.
Ernesto, the org is mine.
Yeah, and I took them. I mean, I do pay for whatever the premium support is, whatever they call it.
Premier, yeah.
Yeah, 2 hours later, I had the org under my name. So maybe it will take 6 hours for you, but
no, I have the same support. So
yeah, and so
anything.
I do know that like when you change your Premier contact, like there's some verification also. So if this doesn't work,
and I know that was changed because I actually do the expert coaching sessions now, and you have to be a special person, right, in order.
Yep, we're all special.
Yeah, to do that. So okay, all right.
When I did run into issue is a real case that I needed help. They didn't do it because the name of the other person was there. So they were
Huh.
asking me all kinds of questions, but then I open a ticket at the same time and I say, change the name. So by the time they did it, I went back. I'm like, oh, there you go. Problem
Right. One of
That's why I
the
did it.
tricks that I found with the Premier Support is to always have your Premier Support primary contact included on any cases that your team puts forward. And that helps escalate it and they don't dilly-dally around quite as much.
I'm a team of one, so.
Hey, that you were in the right
That's
place.
all you need.
All good. All good. All right. Stu, what do you got going on? Do you just miss me because I wasn't here
Yeah,
last?
sorry. We can lower my hand now. I don't have to be handed. I came in the middle of you talking about Hyperforce. Sorry about that. I have an excuse. I was doing company mandatory training online in order to keep my job, which I really would like to do. And so I was late to arrive at this
Okay.
meeting.
That's
Apologies.
okay. We
Apologies.
forgive you. We're glad you're here. It's great.
However, in the last, so I'm also a co-leader of the Twin Cities Architect Group, which I love doing. Favorite group in the world. And in the last meeting, I said, so what do we want to talk about in 2024? And they said a list of the integration, architecture, big objects, some strange things. And Hyperforce was on the top of the list, to which my lizard brain said, what is that? What? And the discussion came that like somebody said they were supposed to move to February, but they haven't gotten any emails on that. And it sounds like a lot of the discussion here. So what is there a place that a lizard brain like myself can go to say like the 101 ABCs of moving to Hyperforce? What is Salesforce's strategy and plan around getting customers? And are there people that a lowly person like me can call and say, would you like to come to our architect meeting and tell us all about Hyperforce? And what are the things we need to plan when we're moving to Hyperforce? Because I really would I'd love to know so I can educate my Minnesota people on how to prepare for that. Or am I too late? Has it already begun and I'm gonna be against the wall here?
I have a good answer. You're too late. Just ride the wave.
I don't know if it's too late because they keep canceling our client.
No, they keep moving it because they don't know what they're
They keep
doing.
moving it.
Sorry. But yeah, there is a place. I think I have a link that my account person sent me. I can try to find it, but I don't know. I'm sure somebody else has a better thing. I didn't spend much time on this. I talked to the support people and say, look, I just wanted this to not fail. What do I need to do? And there was not much for me to do other than checking whitelisting and things like that. But I'll try to find the link.
That'd be great. Ernesto, you're my favorite. Andrew is also my favorite. And I'm
Andrew
thinking
probably has
Andrew's probably got like a dozen different links and articles and people he knows. But now Christy also might be my new favorite person. And I'm looking for other people to raise their hands and saying, I'm also your favorite person. Stuart, can I be your favorite person? Please.
I had that crown for a couple weeks. It's gone now. I don't know where I left it.
Ernesto, my experience has been about the same. I've talked to Salesforce and we chose to go ahead. We're doing it this Sunday, 21st. So I guess I'll report back to this group in a couple of weeks on how it goes.
Yeah, that would be nice. I completely didn't even check. I don't even know if I am on it or not. I have somebody else that helps me, so I don't know. I haven't talked to them about it. Just too busy.
The EAC comment, whoever said they had trouble with EAC, I'd be interested in knowing more about that because my last ticket with EAC was 122 days for them to get it resolved.
Ooh.
I'd rather not go through that again.
I mentioned it, but I only mentioned it because my developer that works with me, he said he took like an expert coaching on Hyperforce when I told him that we were going to be moved. And he's the one who mentioned EAC. If we're not using EAC, we shouldn't have any problems. But that's all I know.
Yeah, we are using EAC, and apparently we're on Hyperforce, and no problems apparent. So
I
Sure.
don't know if it's because, right, with EAC, I don't think anything is stored in Salesforce, right? It's stored outside of it. So that may be where the issue, like historical reporting may be an issue. I'm not sure. Okay.
Yeah, and the connection to that AWS database sometimes can get broken because of the conversion to, which is why you have to test it and potentially reconfigure it. So, yep.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Well, I didn't mean to necessarily stretch out that whole topic, but just to say, I'll be looking for you. I will find you. You people that know about Hyperforce, and I'll be asking for more information.
I don't know who has a question, but I do have one. Very simple. Is there somebody before me?
No, we don't have any other
Okay.
questions in the queue. It's
Yeah.
you.
So I have an easy one. Backup solution. So right now I'm installing own backup. But I've been on Salesforce for probably 5 years now. Never had to use any of this stuff. I'm getting it, but because I'd rather be safe than sorry, but I just want to know if anyone has a real life experience of actually using a backup software. So you have a backup something.
So raise your
Okay,
hand.
I
Had to
see a
use
couple.
own backup.
Okay.
There you go.
So what was the case? Like, is this somebody just messed up and deleted things, like with the flow, or a user just went ballistic?
You know, I know one case that I was not actually affected by, but I'd say this is about 6 or 7 years ago. Salesforce pushed out a release that had an issue that caused problems with a lot of orgs. And if you didn't have a backup, it was a real challenge to try to get things reset. And I know Own Backup went on like 24/7 work helping all their customers restoring and getting their data back from their backups, which was key. So I know that was a lifesaver, and that was a Salesforce release mistake, which doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
But it was a big to-do. Many orgs were affected.
Got it.
Yeah, Barb, that may have been a similar issue to ours. We'd only been up like 4 weeks on Salesforce, and I was actually sitting in a requirements gathering session for the next phase, and everything went down. And you're right, Own was on. Everybody was in. The Israel office was open, US office was open, and the CEO was in his seat. It was that bad. We were back up. Well, the second time we were back up in about 15 minutes. We got ready to do the restore the first time, and Salesforce dropped again. They took it back down almost worldwide. That's when they messed up permissions and basically wiped out all the permissions, and everyone could see everyone else's data suddenly.
Pardot, any
Yes.
org that had Pardot or currently
Yes.
has Pardot, they ran a script and then they didn't know exactly the cause. So then they were like, you know what? Screw it. Let's turn off all access. Or no, let's wipe all permissions and then let's turn off all access.
Right.
And then it was a disaster. It was like May of 2019 or 17, one of the two. It was
I made
bad.
some, I made some stickers with the date on it. A little disaster icon.
Yeah, Own had us back up
That
in
was
15
truly
minutes.
a disaster.
Okay.
Well, I've got a self-inflicted use case where Own Backup saved our bacon. We had a team spent months analyzing records to do a huge data purge just because we had too much data, and looking at all the possible ramifications, related objects and everything. Got the list, everybody blessed it. I went in, I took their list, I deleted the records. The next day, there was the flurry of oh shit calls. What about this? What about that? Oh no, contract this, opportunity the other. And I just went into Own Backup. I just found the interface is super easy. I just went down to the date. I found the type of records. It showed me everything that it would restore along with the deleted record. And it was very granular. I could select whatever I wanted and bring them all back. And I was done in a couple of hours. It took several more hours for the actual data to come back. But I mean, we ran into them at Dreamforce. My manager and I went out of our way to go up to their booth and say, thank you. You have one of those things. It just freaking works.
Yeah.
And they gave us some swag and we went away happy.
Nice.
And we renewed again.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I'm getting it.
For the swag, they've got great.
For the backpack, right? Yeah, that's why I did
I
it
mean,
too.
and
No,
their
no,
pens, you're right, so smooth.
no. Our org uses own backup as well right now, and we store the data and the metadata, which is important because we also have Shield. I'm telling you too much stuff about our org. This is probably PII information, but what's nice about that is that it also backups our Shield metadata. So like how we've configured Shield, and our you can do a bring your own key. Where do you store that key? Well, we could back it up, that key, into own backup as well, which well, there's pros and cons to that. Is there a risk there? I don't know, but you've got it backed up is the whole point.
Yeah.
The one thing though that we're having a big enterprise discussion about that is, oh, okay, great. Every system's got their backups. That's wonderful. But what happens if our data center goes down? If our connection to the internet goes down? If this goes down? What is your restoration practice? What's your BCP plan? Business continuity plan? And then the whole room goes silent. Well, it's great that you've got backups, but if you don't have a business plan, those backups don't matter at all. They're just data. So really, this is on my soapbox again to call out to say, don't get a backup tool just so you can store data in it. That's really a bad use of your money. Actually think about the whole life cycle of that plan. Why are you doing it? What are you gonna do with that data? How long does that data live in its backup? If you're at a financial or a healthcare organization, then that data can't live out there forever. So you need to work with own backup. Like we have a plan with own backup that can only live for X number of years, and it must be purged because you can't store that data forever.
Right.
Anyway, things to think about.
Yeah, good points. Thank you.
And one other thing I found after our incident that I started using it for is before we do a record deletion, I will do it in the sandbox, and even though it's not the same exact records we're deleting, I can do a compare and contrast to see what actually gets deleted with whatever we're deleting. So it follows all the tentacles out through Salesforce and shows you what else will be affected when you do that in production. That was super helpful going forward.
Yep, I agree. We have our primary org is multi-tenant from our business unit perspective. There's like 8 business units. No one knows that the other business units exist. They all have unique data. And anytime we do something massive, I was going to say massive, anytime we do anything of importance, we do a full backup. So we basically have an archive of the current state, regardless of what we're cutting over to. So we can always run and be safe. Got to shout that we love seeding. So if you're not using that, seeding has been really useful for us. And then the other one that we really like is we're in a massive implementation of some warehousing and lake work, and being able to connect to the own backup, full backup to feed those warehouses versus calling against Salesforce has made our API counts low, and we don't have to have any worries or risks there because we're just, we're almost like hub and spoking our data to the warehouse to get things initiated. Once it's set up, then we go obviously directly to our production, but it's really helped with some of the lifting steps. So there's a lot of really good non-oh shit moments that it's really been helpful for us.
Very nice. Yeah. Good to know. Thank you.
Quick time check. We have 5 minutes. If there isn't anything, we don't have to fill empty space. I could ramble for 5, I guess, but
oh, there's other people who haven't talked at all yet, Squire.
Or you could make a public announcement that if you want to hear more of Joy's voice, you can subscribe to the Salesforce Admins podcast and listen to her talk for 45 minutes with Mike Gerhold. It's a wonderful conversation about admin mindset and all sorts of fun things. And plus you get to listen to Joy, and she's a wise, wonderful person.
And apparently I laugh in like the first 20 seconds. And so
You posting a link, Stuart?
Yeah, we need a link.
oh my gosh.
Oh wow! I did
Oh
okay.
my
I didn't
gosh.
realize that.
It is.
And Andrew posted it. Thank you, Andrew.
I don't know if
wasn't,
I'm
wasn't quite ready for that.
Andrew. I appreciate all your support, Stu. Apparently I still have my princess crown as Stuart's favorite.
I started to listen because I've got it on my feed, and so I was listening to
I'm really glad you didn't say you have it on like repeat, because that was gonna scare me a little.
No, I was listening to the developer podcast, and then right next was the next one. I'm just listening, and all of a sudden I'm hearing this voice, and I know that voice. Where I've heard
Familiar
that voice from somewhere.
So, you may have missed me last time, but you could have been listening to me without me. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was a whole day. That was like a whole, like, that was, that conversation took almost 2 hours. Anyway, we're at 157. I appreciate all your support. And if you guys listen to it, share it with your friends and laugh at me. I talk about my mom. I talk about some people in the community a little bit, but it's all right. It's all good. But thank you. Thank you everybody for being here, making time your day for us. So we'll see you next time, February 2nd, right?
See
February
you
2nd.
soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bye.
Hey everybody.
Thanks,
Bye,
Stu.
all.
Bye. Mwah.
Still recording.
It's okay.